Hey everybody, this is Brett from Love Bats in the Belfry. Hopefully you're having a spooktacular day. I'm back for the second video in our Love Bats Crypt series, and this video just wanted to re-upload our video on our 30th Beetlejuice anniversary video. It's now been 31 years since Beetlejuice came out in 1988. But this was when we did a video last year on its 30th anniversary, us talking about our love for the movie, our love for the TV show, and just showing off different types of Beetlejuice merch that we have. Mostly it's Kelly. Kelly's the one who got me into the Beetlejuice movie. I grew up watching the cartoon, so I actually wasn't too familiar with the actual movie until I met Kelly, and she turned me on to my love for Beetlejuice. So we watched it pretty much all the time. Probably at this point we watched it well over 10 times. But when we made the video last year, we'd probably seen it 6. But it's just a very feel-good movie, and just wanted to re-upload that video, and just hopefully you all enjoy our little fandom video. And it talks in depth, so grab a coffee, grab a tea, or grab an adult beverage of your kind. I just drank a Rosemary's Baby. Yes, that's a pumpkin beer, believe it or not. It's not bad. But yeah, pull up a chair. If you're on the way to work, maybe you can listen to it as a podcast. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy our Beetlejuice 30th anniversary fandom video. Thanks.
It's showtime.
Hello, all my spooky friends. This is Brett. If you want to introduce yourself.
And I'm Kelly.
Kelly is my spooky girlfriend, and today we wanted to talk about Beetlejuice. Now, Beetlejuice came out in 1988, and it's been 30 years. Mm-hmm. It's been out for 30 years. So today we thought we'd share a special video with you all, just talking about our fandom, and Kelly's going to share a bunch of crazy merchandise. She's a big Beetlejuice collector. I think one day she probably wants to have a Beetlejuice museum.
Yes.
Yeah, so we rewatched this. How many times have we watched this together?
Probably like 6 so far.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's probably been around that many times. We love this movie. Thankfully, Kelly is basically was the one who showed this to me, and I saw this movie like before, like she had actually showed me, and I was legitimately paying attention to this movie. I've just seen bits and pieces of it, and a lot of people really love this movie, but no one really has been like that moment from this movie. So I was like, why do people really love this movie? But we just want to talk about it and how much we really enjoy it. As far as the movie, what do you have to say?
Well, what you just said kind of reminded me of when I actually fell in love with this movie. Obviously we all have seen it when we were younger, and it probably freaked you out when you were a little kid. But then when I saw it, probably when I was 17 or something like that, and I really paid attention to it, like you said, I was like, wow, this movie is so bonkers, and it really makes no sense, almost.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice makes no sense, but it's so good, and I love Lydia's character. I love Beetlejuice as a character, even though he's so disgusting.
Yeah, he's gross, but he's a lovable jerk.
Yeah.
He's just lovable enough that even though he's almost like a bad prankster, but in a likable way.
Right.
He doesn't do anything in the movie that's so bad that he's dislikable. You're just oh, he's Beetlejuice, And Franco really loves this movie too. Franco, say hi to the camera.
Look, say hi.
Franco's our little buddy in this video. He's just kind of laying up here, just hanging with us.
Staring at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also love the Maitlands and Barb and Adam.
Barb and Adam are great.
They were my inspiration for love. I wanted to be them.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad I found you, because we are them.
Thank you.
And I'm really looking forward to taking turns on who has to answer the door.
You're really sweet. That's actually they have a really great relationship. And no, I definitely agree. They have a great sense of love, and all this craziness. You know, they both die together in this movie, and they're experiencing the afterlife together, and like they're like, what, did we die? Like, what's happening? And like they continue to like love one another. They just kind of, you know, they're like, whatever is happening, like, you know, we get through together. So I really like that aspect of their characters. And so to those who have not seen Beetlejuice but are randomly watching this video, do you want to explain what the basic plot is about Beetlejuice?
Sure. So, like you just said, the Maitlands, they are like on vacation. They're kind of remodeling their house and like putting up new wallpaper and stuff. And the dad in the attic has this, what is that called?
Like where he was like the tiny town.
Like a model town table thing.
Yeah, it's like a table of, and it's a model of a town.
Yeah, so he needs to get something for it. They go out, cross over this bridge. On their way back from the store, they try not to hit this dog, crash on the bridge, their car falls in the water, and then all of a sudden they're back at their house, like soaking wet, don't realize they're dead yet, and then finally, like, they realize that they can't see their reflection, and they're just really confused. They get the handbook of the recently deceased. And,
yes, they get this.
Yes.
Which we conveniently have here today.
That book does not open. It's so stupid.
It's just
literally glued shut.
It's literally a prop. It's not an actual book.
No, it is a book. They glued it shut.
Oh, that's lame.
It is lame. Anyway, so new people buy their house. They're like these crazy, like kooky, weird family. The Dietzes, and the mom is an artist, and she wants to completely change the house. And the Maitlands are really upset about that. They obviously want to be there alone. They don't want this other family living there. So they come across Beetlejuice, who is a bioexorcist, and it's the story about trying to scare the Dietzes away, and the Maitlands fail multiple times.
Like they first try, was it like Barb? She like has a noose around her neck in like the closet, and then at first like the one like remodeling friend, I forget his name.
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah, he opens the closet, and then you see Barb hanging there like pretending to be dead, and then she literally pulls her face off, and then eyeballs pop out, and then at first you think they react to it, and then they're just like, oh my god, hopefully the other closet space in this house isn't as small or whatever.
Yeah.
And Adam like has his head cut off, and then like Barb is like holding it with a knife, and like they're just trying to like get their attention, but it's like clearly they don't see them, and
only the strange and unusual can see them.
Yes, like Kelly here, or in the movie Lydia.
I am Lydia.
She is Lydia.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, Lydia is Kelly's inspiration. Like, I think if you were to say if there's a movie character you see yourself in, I would say that you are Lydia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
And so Beetlejuice is insane in this movie, and he's pretty much an icon. He's crazy. Like the first introduction to Beetlejuice in this movie is Adam and Barb are hiding in their attic, where they don't want the family to get access to the one room that they worked really hard on, and so they lock the door, and then they see a television in their attic, and it shows Beetlejuice. This is his first appearance, where he's like dressed as like a cowboy. He's like swinging a what is it called?
Lasso.
Yeah, he's like swinging a lasso, and he's just like, "Come on down now!" And
you're so good at that.
And yeah, he's just like advertising, trying to get people to say his name. You know, it's like, say it once, say it twice, 3 times the charm.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so with that said, I'm pretty sure when we watched it just now that it was like the 26-minute mark that scene happened. So Beetlejuice is not in the movie for basically the first half hour. Yeah, he actually, like, as much as people know Beetlejuice's character in the actual movie, he's not in it that much. I think it's like I might be wrong, but I think it's like a total of 18 minutes. I forget. I read that somewhere.
I can believe that, because I mean, the TV is like his first actual appearance. There's the one appearance beforehand where he's like sitting at a table and he opens the newspaper where it's like, you know, the Afterlife's newspaper, and he's like, I need a job. So he like opens to the obituary section,
Yes.
and but that like you don't see his face, you just hear his voice, and so yeah, there's the TV, and then once they get to a point in the movie where Adam and Barb really can't scare this family away, so they're desperate, so they finally say Beetlejuice 3 times, and that's when he like actually appears, and even that's a short scene. Like the finale of the movie is when Beetlejuice truly shines, but I mean the little scenes that he's in is like, I feel like if he was in any more of the movie, people would start to get annoyed of him. At least I probably would.
That's very true.
Yeah. So.
I think it's perfect the way that it is.
Yeah, I think so too. So, do you have any fun facts about this movie?
Yeah, so originally, I think they wanted to call it Scared Sheetless.
Which is pretty great of a name.
Yes. And another thing about the title is that they wanted to spell it like they do in the model, like where they have like that Beetlejuice sign and the tombstone and everything like that. But they didn't think people would know how to say it.
Here lies Beetlejuice. And
So yeah, they thought everybody would say Beetlejuice. So they really just spelled it like Beetlejuice so people could recognize it. And another fun fact is like when they're showing the title at the beginning of the movie, there's a space in Beetlejuice, so it's 2 separate words. But on everything else, like the movie poster, the movie cover, there's no space. So there's like all these random little discrepancies, I guess. What else?
Didn't you say that apparently Adam and Barb's death was supposed to be like very brutal?
Oh yeah, this originally was supposed to be like a horror movie, like
which everything about it just screams like I mean it's spooky, but it's like this sounds like a horror movie concept.
Right, and like they, I guess, eventually decided that they wanted it to be a family movie, so they just kind of minimized that scene and didn't really show much.
Yeah.
But I think they just wanted to go like into more detail and make it a little bit more drawn out. But that's another thing, they get away with saying the F word and it's PG.
I don't know the details of the rating systems back then, but things were either like G or PG, and even PG movies, like this was 1988, so like he says the F word, he says shit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Like yeah, there's just like little languages, like things like the one, you know, famous line where he says the F word, he says nice fucking model.
Yeah.
And
grabs his crotch.
There's
like another, doesn't he like go like this?
Yeah, he does like the, you know, like the, you know, you get what that means.
Right.
And
I forget when.
That was when he first meets Adam and Barb, and like Adam is, you know, trying to be like, he's just like trying to negotiate with him, and he just like turns around and just goes like this.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
Also, doesn't he grab Barb's butt? And like he like has like a stick and like
lifts up her dress.
Lifts up her dress, yeah. So it's like they could get away with this, even though like kids love this movie. And
I just remember being so young and being terrified of when they, like, towards the end when they like open their faces and like Adam pulls out his nose like that.
Oh yeah.
Definitely scared me.
Yeah, there's that's definitely the Tim Burton style. Cause, I mean, I know you probably never seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but
I've seen parts.
There's the really famous part that like scared the crap out of kids, because a lot of people really love Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but there's a part with a character named Large Marge, and she's like, "Tell him Large Marge sent you," and like her eyeballs get like so huge, and like she turns into like what basically Adam and Barb do to their faces later in the movie. And like that scared the crap out of people, and you're like, yeah, if you showed that to a kid, they would be scared. And it's kind of like Adam and Barb at the end, where they're like, what's her name? Their case,
Juno.
Yeah, Juno, their caseworker in the afterlife is just like, come on, let's see your faces, and they're just like, bleh.
She's like, nice, you look good.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's cool. There's a lot of fun, kooky characters in this movie. Like towards the end too, where she's trying to, you know, help them out, and they're asking for advice. Like the dead football team or whatever, they're not aware they're dead either.
Yeah.
Basically, the middle of this movie, Adam and Barb are successful in scaring. What's the family's name that moves in? I keep forgetting.
Dietz.
The Dietz. God.
Dietz.
I just know Lydia Dietz because Lydia is such a memorable character.
Yeah.
But the Dietz, when halfway through the movie, Adam and Barb are successful at scaring them, which is like one of the best scenes like I can think of in a movie because it's just so random. Like it's the dinner scene. They have, you know, these suspicions of, oh, there's ghosts in our house, and they want to prove it to these other people. So they're at dinner with them in their house, and then what's the mom's name? I don't remember the mom's name, but you can call her the mom from Home Alone because everyone knows her from Home Alone.
What is her name?
Yeah, I can't remember. But she's just like, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about, and then it breaks into the song Deo, and it's like a 2.5-minute scene of just everyone like getting possessed by Adam and Barb and just dancing around the dinner table, and it's great. And even if you just look up that scene, you're just like, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
She is so crazy though, because there's like, I mean, I'm sure there's more scenes, but there's 2 scenes where she's wearing the weirdest shit ever. Like, when they're first eating dinner together and they're eating, like, Chinese food or whatever, and she has those, like, leather gloves, like, tied around.
It's just, like, hanging over.
Like, as a headband.
Yeah.
And then towards probably the middle of the movie, first they show her husband wearing this red sweater. And then, like, the next scene, which is the next day or whatever, she literally has her legs in the armholes, and then, like, the part for your torso is, like, coming up to her waist, and then she has suspenders on holding it up.
I never even noticed
that. So she's
that.
wearing a sweater as pants.
That's so weird. That definitely describes her character, though, because
Yes.
she's like, I live and breathe art.
Yeah.
And she's like, be careful with my sculptures, and you're like, what sculptures are even these? Like,
They're terrible.
It's like, what are these supposed to be? The end is bonkers. Well, there's the whole strip club scene. Speaking of, you know, this is rated PG or whatever,
PG, yep.
And after the little incident with Adam and Barb, you know, he like gets out and then he's trying to spook the family, and they call him back, and he's like in the model home thing, and then all of a sudden he sees like a strip club. It's like called Dante's Inferno,
Yes.
but it's like a strip club, and you're like, this is a PG movie. All
My
right.
niece likes to watch this movie, and she asked me what that was one time. And I was just,
What'd you say?
it's nothing. I don't know.
You
I
just said it's
nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. So the Maitlands are, like, really dying. I mean, they're dead, but, you know, they're getting really old looking and, like, wrinkly. And Lydia is, like, very scared. She doesn't want to lose them. So she asks Beetlejuice for help. And he's like, okay, but if I'm going to help you, you have to help me. Like, I want to get out of here, and the only way that I can do it is if I get married.
Yeah.
So he basically, like, forces her to marry him. And then,
Yeah, because the one remodeler, he ends up grabbing the book for the recently deceased because Adam and Barb's, you know, clumsiness, they don't take it with them, and so he ends up summoning them with their wedding clothes, and so he summons them like it's like basically back to life, but he doesn't know what he's doing as he's summoning them, so they actually start dying for real.
yeah.
And Lydia is freaking out, so she's like, I have to do something. So once again, kind of like Adam and Barb, like she gets desperate and is like, Beetlejuice literally is the only thing that can like help me right now.
Yeah.
So she says his name 3 times, and he comes back, and he he like pretends like he's like person with the carnival, and like his arms like stretch out to like hammers, and yeah, it's fun, and the end doesn't make a lot of sense though because of how he like gets taken away. Like he shrinks Adam into like the model home, and then he like gets in the car and drives
Yeah.
like away from that like this big, and then he drives up and then hits Beetlejuice in the foot, and like there's like a little explosion, and he's like ah, and like Barb ends up like as she's trying to save Beetlejuice 3 times, he like throws her into this one zone where sandworms are, which you want to stay clear of in the afterlife. And she just somehow ends up riding a sandworm, and like comes like comes through a portal, and then like takes Beetlejuice, and then like takes him away, and then basically everyone's saved. Lydia doesn't have to marry Beetlejuice, and it's a lot of the. You can't get too much into logistics in this movie though, because there's a lot of stuff as far as the afterlife. The whole concept of the afterlife is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like the whole, if you need help, like you like Adam like draws a door and like knocks on it, and they like walk through to like this just basically like almost doctor's office.
Yeah, it's like the waiting room for all the dead.
For all the dead, and they have to take a number, and it's I don't know, it's you're just like, well, this is the afterlife.
I know, I kind of
it's like real life.
I wish that there was more of that.
Yeah, it's
setting.
It's fun though, because of just how cool and weird the concept is. I think that's what the TV show, the cartoon, kind of, I guess, explores a little bit more of. There are things about the TV show that are different from the movie, but they're enjoyable in their own right. So, any final thoughts on just the movie Beetlejuice before we talk a little bit about the show?
This whole time we've been talking, I just cannot wait until the 20th of October because we're going to see that musical.
Yeah, we're going to see a Beetlejuice musical.
And I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, so it's... I don't know what to expect. I'm sure you don't either.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be really cool and...
Because it's a Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be great, but I really don't know what to expect. But as far as the movie goes, I mean, I think we pretty much summed it up. It's just a super fun, like, movie that you can pretty much watch any time of the year.
Yeah, it enhances your spooky season. I did an episode, if you've seen my Brett Spooky Vlog episode 1, I talk about just movies that kind of put you in the Halloween spirit, at least the ones that I think do. I didn't mention this movie, but this is a good one to definitely add to your list, because a lot of people who just like more of the spooky, fun like movies that kind of put you in the Halloween spirit definitely watch this one, along with Hocus Pocus. But this is a good one.
Yeah. Plus, like, it makes me feel very nostalgic, and I love movies like that, and it's part of the reason why it's one of my favorites, because it gave me such a different like feeling when I was young, and so when I kind of rediscovered the movie, like, I found a new love for it, and so, I don't know. It just always makes me feel like, kind of like a little kid.
Yeah, and that's good that you can still have, a movie like that makes you feel that way. Because especially when you see it as a kid, there's a lot of stuff that you don't really understand. But then,
exactly.
But then when you rewatch it, you're like, oh, now I get it. But it's like, it's almost like watching it all over again.
Yes.
But that's, I mean, I'm 27 and I like this movie a lot. It makes me feel, like a kid.
Yeah.
Behind me there's a sign that says never grow up. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'm blocking it, or maybe I am blocking it. But yeah, so watch Beetlejuice if you like to feel like a kid.
And then you got me the whole series of the cartoon. And when we first started, I had never seen it. I never watched it as a kid. I didn't even really know it existed.
I watched it as a kid. I didn't really remember anything of any episodes or anything like that, but I remember really liking it. The only thing I really remembered was when I think this was on Cartoon Network as a kid, when they showed like advertisements for Beetlejuice. I just remember there was a shot where at the end of it, Beetlejuice would be like holding a rose and would be like, and then fall straight back onto his back. And that actually is part of the intro, and I think it was maybe the last season. As far as the Beetlejuice, the cartoon, is a little different from the movie. So in the movie, like, Beetlejuice and Lydia don't really know each other that much, and they're not too, well, at least Lydia's not too fond of Beetlejuice in the movie. but in the cartoon, Beetlejuice and Lydia are best friends. Like, they hit it off, they spend all their time together, and it's never mentioned in the movie, but in the TV show, they go to the Neither World, it's what it's called, and they basically just have these like wacky, kooky adventures in the Neither World, and it's I don't know, it's such a fun time, and the puns are on another level.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I don't know, whoever wrote the TV show, like, you win the award for best puns ever.
And they just, like, there is never, like, 2 minutes
Without some sort of pun. You're just
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Like,
how
they
did you,
keep them coming.
yeah, how did you come up with all this?
And really, like, when we first started watching it, I was like, I don't know, like, this show makes me feel crazy. Like,
It
it's
is
so bizarre, but I really grew to love it.
Yeah, it's when you first, like, especially the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say the first number of episodes, it definitely takes some getting used to. I think as the episodes went on, they knew that they needed to tone it down a little because it gets so crazy. Like, the first number of episodes, I'm like, there's just so much stuff going on,
Yes.
and it's like Beetlejuice is like screaming half the time, and there is, you know, little things here and there that are really enjoyable, but
Yeah.
this is one of those shows that it actually does get better as it goes on. Even though each episode is its own thing, it's its own separate story, and it mostly involves, you know, just Beetlejuice and Lydia just doing their thing. It's a lot of fun, and the show, yeah, it just gets really good as it goes along.
And leave it to me to be, like, really cheesy, but I love how Lydia is in this as well, because there's always, like, some sort of, like, moral background to each episode, and she's so, like, she's such a good person.
Yeah, she's so sweet. Like,
she's so sweet.
She's just this gothic girl that's just has a heart of gold.
Yeah,
and just
like,
loves...
when I have a kid, this will be the show I show them to, like, make them a good person.
Franco,
like,
you can't...
screw... Don't try to drink his beer.
Yeah, you can't have my beer. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to...
I was just gonna say, screw Bubble Guppies and, like, Paw Patrol.
I
This is where it's at.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is where it's at. So show Beetlejuice to your nieces, your daughters, your sons, your nephews, everyone.
Madison loves it. She begs me to. Spooky Tree.
Yeah, there's an episode
she
called The
loves
Spooky
it.
Tree that's really good. Trying to think a couple other episodes that I really like.
Are they listed back here?
They're on the individual cases, but there's... Yeah, Spooky Tree is one of my favorite episodes. There's one episode where Beetlejuice and Lydia, like, the whole episode, they just... I think it's called Scare and Scare Alike, where it's just Beetlejuice and Lydia go back and forth trying to scare one another. And it's really funny. There's one I just really love, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, Beetlejuice is great. Yeah, this was the early 90s, and it has 4 seasons, so I want to say season 2 and 3 are a bit shorter, but there's plenty of episodes of this show, so it definitely recommend it. Yeah. And we have, even though this says Beetlejuice Halloween Spectacular, these are some of the same episodes you can find in here, but I just saw this online, and I was like, this is perfect to get for Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because it kind of just groups together a couple...
Yeah,
8
episodes.
episodes.
It's like 8 episodes that are all, like, very Halloween themed.
Yes.
Even though like you could watch the whole show around Halloween time, but like the Halloween Spooktacular.
This describes Lydia as a perky goth girl.
Perky goth girl.
She's perky.
Yeah, she is. She's Lydia Winona Ryder's like in the movie. She's very like she's sweet and everything, but she's like a little more, I guess, like not morose but somber. Like in a lot of it. Like once she meets Adam and Barb in the movie, she's very like. She's like, this is awesome, like I can see ghosts, and like they become friends, but she's a little more, like somber.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe her.
But in the show, she's just like very perky and fun. But it's
very much so.
It's like they're both so good. Like, I mean, if you were like, would you rather watch the TV show or the movie? It's like, don't make me choose that.
Yeah. Beetlejuice as the cartoon is a very, like, feel-good, like, just fun, easy to watch kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And the movies, it's just, they're totally different.
Yeah, they're a lot different. Also, I would say Beetlejuice is much more likable in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still, you know, he's got his, you know, silly antics and, you know, trying to be a prankster and such, but he's also, you know, really good at heart, and not unlike the movie he's a likable jerk. So
Yes.
so
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it about, I mean, we could talk all day, but I think we pretty much summed up both of them
I would say so.
pretty well.
Yeah, we do have some merch to show, just based on our fandom. So
Yeah, I have lots and lots of goodies.
yeah, so we'll cut to that in a second.
So this is like my little Beetlejuice corner.
Yep.
I have this amazing Beetlejuice bunting, I think this is called. I love bunting, it's like all over my room. But this one is just all these fun scenes, so I love that. I have this cool little print of Lydia. I got off of Etsy, I believe. This is one of my favorite things. It's from Little Shop of Gore. They like did a very limited run of that, so I literally had a timer on my phone to get that. Brett got me this. He surprised me with it.
It was from lovely Amazon.
Yes, you can find anything on there. You also gave me that and this. Basically everything on this shelf, and that's a Beetlejuice living dead doll. So, a couple other things that I have. This is a Jellicoe print from Sourpuss. This one is like one of my favorites. Parlor tattoo prints, you have to check them out.
They do a lot of great stuff.
A lot, but this is like one of my absolute favorite pieces. And then my mom gave me this for Christmas. I believe it's from Etsy, but I can't read the artist's name, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah. And if you saw my double feature fun episode 1, this is actually in the background.
Yes.
So yeah, little fun thing there. There's one more thing that you wanted to show, and it's actually across the room.
Yeah.
But this is also from Parlor Tattoo Prints. Is it Parlor Tattoo Prints? Yeah. So they did the Strange and Unusual, and this is also Lydia and Edward Scissorhands. So I mean, it is Tim Burton themed, so it's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really love Beetlejuice. Any other thing you have to say?
No, I think I said a lot.
Yeah, well, the hat is screaming us to go away, if you can see it behind you.
Yeah.
So, but thanks for showing us off your merch, Kelly.
I have a lot more, but I'm not going to bore you.
You're not boring.
Thanks.
But Kelly, and also, yes, a Beetlejuice mug that she's drinking some lovely coffee out of.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine. But she does have a Lydia actual tattoo, and so right here on this arm. We want to thank you for watching. Really appreciate your time. If you guys really love Beetlejuice, just tell us some of your favorite moments of either the cartoon or the movie. So yeah, leave that in the comments. Like this video, subscribe. If you love thrills, everything thrills, chills, and kills, just let me know. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and thank you to Kelly for joining me on this video.
I was going to say, thanks for letting me be on here. I feel so special.
No, I wanted to let you be on a video because
You couldn't have made a Beetlejuice episode without me.
that's very true. I would have just been like gone into my nerdiness about Beetlejuice, but not had like a true, real fan here.
Like, I feel like there's like an 1/8 of my heart that's just black and white striped. Just filled with Beetlejuice love.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Where is he? Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, stay spooky, have a good Halloween, have a good everything, All Hallows Eve. Well, you all stay spooky, and have a great night and morning.
Bye.
MOUR and morning. Goodbye.
Bye.